So after tearing apart my tripod, this is what I came up with. This is my tripod leg based Jib-Crane. As you can tell, this is a lot smaller than my other design. It breaks up into two parts along with the cable. So it makes it much more portable. It's very lightweight and it achieves tilt. I'm going to set it up for you so you can see what it looks like. So here it is. Here's my tripod leg based Jib-Crane. It's a simple design, it's easy to make, it's easy to set up, and it's very portable, it's very lightweight, and it achieves tilt. It's a huge improvement over my previous Jib-Crane. One of the chief design improvements is the fact that the pivot is now mounted to the side. What does that do? Well, it allows you to get a lot more maximum vertical height with actually having less length on the arm. This is actually shorter than my other Jib-Crane was as far as from the pivot to the end of the arm, but I get at least 2, maybe 3 feet higher because I don't have something blocking the way. Now right now my tripod leg is blocking the way, but if I had the tripod situated a little differently where the legs were more to the side over here, this thing would go straight up and down. I love this. It is so much more practical. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you exactly what I did to make this. I'll go through all the parts I used and show you what I did. Again, the material that I used for this was from my tripod, and so I basically used the legs and the center post. I actually used 2 legs and a couple of the other sections from one of the third leg, and I used the center post. What I did is, now this right here is the front of the jib arm, and this is actually a complete leg. I cut off the very bottom here, the foot, but this is the first section, second section, and third section. And third section, basically, I knew that I wanted to have the thickest part be the majority of the arm of the jib, especially where it mounts to the pivot. And so in order to be able to get the length that I wanted, I knew I was going to have to use some of the other legs. That's what I did. I took a middle section off of the third leg, and I cut it in section, cut the ends off of them. And when I did that, there was a piece of plastic that came off, and I replaced that with this duct tape so that it wouldn't wiggle, or it wouldn't at least rattle while it was inside the other tube. And so that's what I did there. And I took the other section, other leg, and I put that into it, and then I secured the joint with duct tape, and then I drilled my holes. And then after that I put the bolts in, and I put the wing nuts on, and that secured it. And I'll talk about this section. This is one leg that has just the big portion, big section, and then the middle section. The middle section is being covered by this center post that I mounted there, and this is where I used that to mount the center post. I used the center post. The center post is actually very cool because at the very end of it's got a hook, and believe it or not, this hook is very sturdy. I've had 15 pounds of weight on this, I mean directly on it, and it doesn't even bend. I usually will put a 5-pound weight here, an ankle weight here, and I use this little handle to mount another another ankle weight there. I don't use it as a handle. I use it as to mount that too. That way I still have enough room to manipulate it when I want to use it as a handle. So let's talk about next what actually goes into making the moving parts of this. First thing you'll notice is this wheel. This is actually what the wheel looks like without being cut up. It's got 2 bearings, one on each side, and that's why I love them so much, because they're really smooth. I ordered 2 sets of these when I bought them for my track dolly when I built that, so that's where I got them from. But I cut it with a hacksaw to the point where the plastic meets the bearing so that it would be flat. It needed to be flat so that it could be flush with the bracket, and that's what I did. So here's this L bracket, and I doubly secured it with another bolt so that it would move. And the bracket is also mounted to this quick release plate that I use with my tripod head. And then I have this other bracket here that I use to mount my LCD screen to. Now the only problem with this is that whenever you're using the tilt function of your tripod head is also the tilt function for your Jib-Crane, everything is moving. So if I have my LCD screen here and I tilt, my LCD screen is going to go down here now. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this off here, and I'm going to mount my LCD screen to, I think I have got to figure out a way to do it stationary, but I'll cover that in another video. Now this is the front is exactly the same as the back as far as the principle goes. Here you've got the wheel, you've got a belt bolted to this L bracket. L bracket, if you notice on this one, is a little bit bent, and that's on purpose, because once you get this thing completely extended and you have all the weight from the camera and stuff on it, it actually tends to twist the arm a little bit, and so it actually is a little bit less than horizontal. So I purposely bent it so that when all that weight is applied, it's still going to be horizontal. Although I kind of bent it a little bit too much, I need to bend it back. But where it mounts to the arm, I put in another of these bearings. Then I have this big fender washer, and it goes through, and then it has another washer, and then this wing nut. Same thing here. I have a third bearing going into the jib arm, then coming out with some washers and to the wing nut to secure it. So there it is. Please comment. Let me know what you think of this. Again, this wasn't an attempt to replicate the Cobra Crane or the Pro-Am jib. This was me trying to make use of available materials that I already had, not spend a lot of money, and yet make the design an improvement over the gear that it's replacing. And I think in this case it does. This is a huge improvement over my previous Jib-Crane. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Hey everybody, just wanted to give a little bit of an update to my design here. I noticed in my video that this L bracket here, since it's holding all this weight, it's about 17 to 20 pounds, it's tending to do a little bit of flexing here as I use the jib arm, and that's causing, at the very end where the camera is, it's causing a lot of unwanted horizontal movement as I'm trying to go vertical. So I decided to see if I can tighten that down a little bit. And so what I did is I added this second L bracket here along with a bolt, and it really it strengthens it quite a bit, keeps it more stable, and I've cut down the unwanted horizontal movement a lot. You also notice this other L bracket. Now what I did is I decided, since one of the disadvantages of this design, at least with this tripod head, is that having all that weight on one side and still using this as your tilt, when I'm doing the tilting, it tends to kind of bind a little bit. And it's binding on wherever the connection is on this side. Even though this is a fluid head, it's not, I'm sure it's rated for a certain amount of weight. But so what I decided to do is, instead of having just everything all on one side, I would add a weight here on this side to make it more equal. And how I did that is I added that L bracket. Then I took a piece of tubing from my old Jib-Crane, and I'm just sliding it on top of this thing. And then I take my 5-pound weight and slide it onto the end. And I found a nice little use for this. This is the tightener and the control for the tilt on the head of the old tripod, which was a piece of junk anyway. So I thought I'd put that in there. This way, this keeps the tube on there, and then I added this clamp here to keep the weight from moving around. One of the other enhancements that I wanted to talk about was I wanted to make this longer, this handle longer, so that I could have less weight on it in order to keep the camera balanced, and also so having a little more handle out here would makes it a little more maneuverable when instead of having to be so close. So I took this off. I drilled this hole here using the same hole for the that I used to secure it in place up there. I added that hole, and there it is. And I tightened that down, and now I've got a lot more of a maneuverable distance for using the Jib-Crane.